I want to say something about, you were talking about like PulseX and like the potential of it actually reaching parity with Pulse, which sounds crazy. I mean, we have seen it touch that 1 to 2 area before, and yeah, getting close to it again. One thing, the string of things you said that wasn't really that crazy to imagine is like the consistent updates to PulseX. I think that's exactly what some people may have up their sleeve, actually, timing wise, for PulseX during this cycle. I mean, what would have been the point of, everybody was bitching so much about no single-sided staking right at launch and everything. I mean, anything that was announced in 2023 would have been kind of just a the price action wouldn't have reflected it. You know what I mean? Because we weren't in a bullish environment. So I think there are many things for PulseX, whether it be limit orders, single-sided staking, whatever else you can dream up. I think there are other things coming that are just being waited on. So I don't think that's a crazy thesis at all. I think we're going to see all kinds of stuff roll out from that. And if you had any thoughts on that, that's fine. I wanted to ask you a follow up though, because you were talking about liquidity providing, and it always, not always, but like I heard you were just on with Corey and Dane the other day, and you were great on there, and I love those guys. I watch them every day. Ewok and I were talking a few days ago, and I watch them pretty frequently, but they were expressing hesitancy of even LPing the pool that most of us are comfortable with, the PulseX pool, which I understand. I mean, like if you're risk averse and you don't want, you're afraid of what Inc may do or whatever, I get that. But I mean, that seems like just such a great opportunity for people to do right now. You mentioned it earlier, Axis, like the bigger your bags are, obviously, the more you're going to benefit. But even if they're not, it's a great way to get even more into this ecosystem and do what you want to do with that Inc yield. So I guess just generally, like, talk about your thoughts on how beneficial liquidity providing, at least with the PulseX pool, could be for people. And I had a really good follow up for that. Just what the benefits of that basically are. I'll try to think what my other point was.
Well, so with PulseX, if PulseX is going to moon against Pulse, and you like Pulse, expect to lose some of your PulseX, but you're going to get more Pulse. And then because you're getting Inc yield, and with what the Inc price could do in dollar terms, you could buy back, if you wait long enough and just accumulate, you could buy back the impermanent loss plus have extra capital left over from that. Now that PulseX is the least attractive farm to me because the APR just isn't there versus like Pulse Inc or PulseX Inc. And so the reason why I say that is because if you believe Inc is going to still be valuable and it's going to be leverage on the other two, and these governance feature might get turned on. I mean, there's a lot of speculative what ifs, or some contract comes along and buys and burns it, or even just like the market stays off sides in the fact that it's the cheapest market cap out of any of them. There's a lot of reasons why Inc can still stay higher for longer and be painfully higher for longer, that you'd want to capture that at this range here before the markup to like the 2x, which would put you up here around 100,000 PLS per unit, and then put that in the farm. And so upside, you're going to lose Inc and you're going to get your Pulse back, or you're going to lose Inc and you're going to get your PulseX back, and you're going to be farming Inc the whole time. So I really like the PulseX Inc and the Pulse Inc farms because you're incentivizing it with itself and earning it back. So if your impermanent loss is in Inc, but you're earning Inc back, and you're earning it at like 3 times the rate that you're earning it in the PulseX farm, then why would you be in the PulseX farm? The only guys that should be in that farm are giga whales that have most of it over there, in my opinion. And then in terms of PulseX, another bullish thing we didn't hit on was
the burn.
$20 million burnt, 4% of the supply in the first year. Let's assume that we'll get we might not double that next year because the price might be a lot higher, so the buy and burn may be less effective. But even if we get to, like, by the end of the cycle, we're at 10%, that's pretty bullish. 10% of all PulseX burned. That's pretty bullish. So there's one other element that I want to talk to here, which is, Inc has been really great for a lot of people. Not for a lot. It's been really great for people that caught it early. If I go to the leagues page, where are we at here? Leagues. Stats. Leagues. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
The Inc. market cap is 89 million bucks, and a lot of this supply is held by the biggest wallets. Like I know off the top of my head, like a few wallets that have 5 to 8 million supply on their own, which is like 20%. And so most of the supply of Inc., which of the small $89 million market cap, is held by people that don't want to give away the golden goose quite yet in the cycle. And so I think that's one of the reasons why the market needs it. And it is a really good narrative for people coming from outside the chain in. And we could see like what happened with Cake last cycle and what kind of a run up that and how much liquidity got locked in to the chain on BNB. And so like I think that it's just a really good narrative. It's good earning potential.
Yeah.
A lot of the other dexes are going to thrive off the same concept, like the BBC token on 9inch. And then look at PulseX being in second place with market cap. It's still cheaper. It's about half price, right? The market cap of Pulse.
Yep.
And for all the Hex naysayers, like the market cap is just shy of what. So I think it did a pretty good. Hex did a pretty good job when you really zoom out of holding its value, a store of value, right? When you're looking at this, kind of a frame of mind. I mean, it's to get a shark position, it's still $800,000, guys, for a shark position in Hex, whereas like a shark position in Inc is only 89,000, 10x less, which to me says that the Inc price can go a lot higher. Even a shark position in PulseX is like $3.5 or $400,000 less than what it is in Hex, and then obviously Pulse being like the OG gas token that where all value gets stored on layer ones, like it's they're kind of competing with each other in different ways, but yeah, I just see so much opportunity in Inc still. And I also say if you can level up in Hex, do it now while it's cheap, because look how well it stores value. Looking at this market cap. Like if you don't get a squid position now, it might cost you $80,000 pretty soon, right?